Hi, in this video we'll take a look at how to create flows in your Q workspace. Flows allow you to create user journeys that your customers will be taken through when they send a message to a channel that's connected to your workspace, for example, a WhatsApp number. When you log into Q, you can find flows by clicking on this icon in the left-hand navigation. This will bring you to the flows page where you can see a list of all of your flows that have been created in your workspace. Let's create a new one now. So we'll call this demo flow. We don't need to give it a description, and we'll just set the channel for this flow to be WhatsApp. This now takes us to the flow builder, which is where we can create our user journey. Flows are triggered by a new conversation. So when someone messages your WhatsApp number for the first time, typically you would respond with a welcome message here. So let's do that now. You can also insert custom data, like the user's WhatsApp nickname. So in this case, we are inserting some data into this message saying session.profile, which basically refers to the profile nickname of the person who is currently engaging in this session. So in this case, it will say, "Hi name, welcome to our WhatsApp service. How can we help you today?" You can also add media to your message. You can add an image, video, audio, or document. And you can also add buttons. So buttons make it easy for customers to choose predefined choices. You can have up to 3 buttons on a message, and if you need more, that will be converted to a list menu. And then you can have up to 10 options that the user can choose from. So this will present them with one button that they can tap on to open up a menu that they can then choose an option from. But for this demo, let's just do 2 buttons. And let's add an image to make our message look a bit nicer. Cool. Now we just need to add a footer and add some text to our buttons. So maybe this option will be create an account, and this one will be chat to agent. Now on this step, we want to basically save the user's response as a variable. So we want to say, wait for a response from the user. So we'll check that, and then it will ask us, what do you want to save this response as? And maybe we'll call this variable choice. So we need to give it a name. So we'll call this message welcome. And then we save that, right? So when the user messages in for the first time, they'll receive this welcome message saying, "Hi nickname, welcome to our WhatsApp service. How can we help you today? Please confirm." And they can choose one of these 2 buttons. And whichever one they choose will be stored in this variable called choice. So depending on what button they select, we want to take them down a different path in the user journey. So we can create an if condition here and set this first condition to basically say if they've selected create an account. And the way we do that is by referencing this choice variable, which is saved in the session that the user is in. So we would reference this by saying double curly brackets, session dot, then the variable name, choice dot, and if it's a button, you would say title, here, the button title. So what was the title of the button that they chose in the choice variable? Is it equal to create an account? Okay, and if so, then go down this path. So let's take the user down a registration flow. So we can say here, we might want to ask first name. What is your first name? Now, you might have remembered we can reference their nickname in WhatsApp, but that is not always reliable because sometimes they will have emojis in their nickname, etc. So when capturing information to be saved on a contact, it's usually better practice to ask them explicitly for their name. And we'll wait for a response here, and we can save this response as first name. Maybe we'll just do that again as for last name. We'll save that as last name. What we can also do here is update the contact that is created. So if someone messages your WhatsApp number for the first time, a contact will automatically be created for them in queue, and you can find them under contacts here. But now that the user's given us their first name and last name, well, we probably want to add that to their profile in their contact. So we can say update contact and set the first name to session.first name.text, because it's a text reply. So this variable first name.text. The last name, we want to set that to session.lastname.text. And the client reference field is basically a custom ID that you can set. So maybe in your internal systems, you have a customer number or an account number, etc. You can also ask them for their account number, and you can set that there. So let's maybe do that. Let's say, well, they're creating an account, so we wouldn't do that in this case. But anyway, this is how you can update a contact, right? And maybe we want to say one more thing saying, email. What is your email address? And we'll wait for a response and save that as email, right? Now that we've collected these three bits of data from them, we might want to create an account in our system. And flows make it really easy to send data to other systems. You can create HTTP requests, so essentially API requests that will send this data to any system that you want. So the way we would create an HTTP request here is we create a new step saying HTTP request, and we can put in the URL here. So maybe we'll say post request, HTTPS or api.myapp.com, right? So you can basically, and you want to save this response as, I don't know, new customer, the request. You can add parameters to your request, you can add headers to your request, you can add authorization to your request, and you can also specify the body of your request. So in this case, maybe we want to send some JSON to this API, and we can specify exactly what we want this JSON to look like. So maybe we want to say first name, and in this we will insert this variable just like we did when updating the content, session.firstname.text, and maybe we want to create a second line and a third line, and we'll change this to last name, email. As for email, we also automatically capture their phone number, so you can access that by doing this. Mobile session dot contact identifier. Okay. So we can save that, and now this once they've answered this, we will make a request to an API, and we can check if that request was successful. So we can say if session new customer dot status code equals 200 OK. Then go down this path. Otherwise, go down another path. So maybe we just want to say, sorry, we could not create your account right now. And we could just leave it at that. And the session, maybe we want to just end the session here. And on the happy path, we want to say account created. Congratulations, And we can just save that and maybe end the session here too. Okay, so this shows you how we can request data from a user, save them to variables, update customer contacts, make HTTP requests to APIs, and then make decisions based on, or go down different paths based on the results of that API call. You can also do things like reference the data that has come back from an API. So if you send a request out to your API and it returns some JSON back, you can take data out of that and put it into a message. So maybe you want to do, like, maybe this API will return an account number. So we could say, for example, we could use the set value here. So we can create a new variable. So we want to call this maybe account number. And we want the value of this to be, if we go back to this, we called this variable for the post request new customer. So we can say session dot new customer dot body, which is the body data that comes back. And let's say you sent back some JSON, and in the top level of that JSON body, you had a field called account number. So then you could just say $, and you would say whatever it's called. You could say ACC num or something, whatever it's called. That's how you can reference it, and then just set this to single. Now it will basically select this account number attribute out of the JSON that you've returned and save it as a variable called account number. And now you can say, congratulations, your new account number is session.account number. Like that. And that's how you can pull data out of your API responses and put them into messages for customers. So that's the create account flow. And you can use HTTP requests to capture leads, create accounts, sign up for newsletters, fetch information for a customer, all kinds of things. The next one is how to kind of set up live chat. So if they select chat to agent, so let's create a condition for this. If session.choice.title is equal to chat to agent, then we can save that. And maybe we want to ask them what is their issue. And say, what is the issue you are having? And we can save their response as issue. Once they've responded, we can then create a ticket for live chat, and we can make the subject, we can put the issue as the subject, so we can say session.issue.text. And we can choose the priority, or we can choose what team we want to set it to, etc. But we'll create that ticket. Then perhaps we want to just let them know we're transferring them to an agent. Thanks. We don't need to wait for a response here. And then finally, we want to transfer the session to live chat. Okay, and so that is how you would take a user to, if they tap on chat to an agent and their choice is chat to an agent, we ask them what their issue is, save that as a variable called issue, create a new ticket and set the subject of that ticket to be the issue that the user has reported. Then we send them a message to say, okay, we're transferring you to an agent. And finally, we transfer their session over to live chat. The reason you have to create a ticket and then transfer a session is because you might want to create a ticket and allow the user to carry on interacting with your chatbot until an agent becomes available and they can see the ticket and respond to the user, at which point when they respond to the user will be taken out of the chatbot journey and connected to an agent via live chat. So that's why you can keep those steps separate if you want to do that. But anyway, and then lastly, maybe you just want to handle if someone replies with some text here, instead of choosing a button, you can say use a go to function. Say go to, what was this first step called? Welcome. So we'll say welcome, go to welcome. And actually maybe put in a thing here saying, I don't know, select button. Say, please select one of the buttons. So in this if condition statement here, if the title or if the choice doesn't equal create an account or chat to agent, it will go down the else path and then send the user a message saying, please select one of the buttons, and then take the flow back to the welcome step. So once you've created your flow and you're happy with it, you can click on Save Draft up here. This will save a draft of your flow, and then you can choose to publish it if you want to. And when you click on Publish, you can choose a channel to publish that flow to. Click on Publish, and your flow is then published. So just a few other things. Once your flow is published, if you want to make any more changes to it, so you want to add another step somewhere, what can we do here? Let's just add a random step here saying test. If you save a draft now, you can see version 1 of this flow is live. If you save another draft, it will create a new version, right? So we're on version 2. Version 1 remains published and accessible to users, but now you're working on version 2. And only once you're happy with that can you then publish version 2 to your WhatsApp number. Just one more thing to mention is you can export your flows and import them. So if you want to move flows across workspaces or duplicate flows, then you can use the export and import functionality for that. And that's an overview of the Flow Builder. Hopefully that was helpful. For more information, check out help.qdesk.com.